Hi friends, welcome to Finance Working Mama. My name is Heather and thanks for joining me today. And meet my partners in crime, Thelma and Louise. They have been with me close to a month now as I recover from my hip surgery. I will have to say I cannot wait for these ladies to be away and parked somewhere else other than underneath my arms to carry me from one room to another. I'm much tired of being with them. Hopefully over the next month, I get to wing off at least Thelma. I'll have Louise for a little while, but hopefully I'll be off in the next 30 days. But for now, they're hanging out with me. So I got a great call from my friend, one of the friends that encouraged me to start this channel. And she said, Heather, I did the 7-day challenge. And this is something that not new to her because she did this a number of years ago. And she's like, I knew what I was getting into, but I picked the wrong seven days to do this. And I was like, well, why? She's like, well, everything in the world came up that week. She's like, I had my son's auto tax, property tax that needed to be paid and his registration to be renewed. I took my fur babies to their annual veterinarian appointments, and then I had to buy all their heartworm medication. Then I had my hair done, and if ladies, you know that your hair typically costs more than $20, $30, $50, $75. So that came up, and then she's like, I didn't plan very well because the kids were back in school, and it just was chaotic, and I didn't do a very good job preparing for the week. So I had to take out about 3 nights out of the 5 days of the week, and then we went out to dinner on the weekend, not because we planned to, it's because we had to, because I didn't have any groceries in the house. So we ate out 4 days a week out of the 7 days. And she's like, of course. But I mean, that's not counting the groceries and the gas, the normal things that I have to buy during the course of a week. So that brought up precisely what I wanted to talk to you guys today. And that's soft obligations. And what she mentioned in the few items that really cost her quite a few dollars that week was some soft obligations. And you're saying, well, what is that exactly? Well, we already talked about your hard obligations. That is your mortgage and your rent, your power, your car payments, your insurance, the things that you have to pay every single month and is obligated to pay every single month to keep going in life. Soft obligations are things that come up throughout the year that you have to have money for. And you don't think about it, most of us don't think about it until it's upon us. And then we have to figure out where we're going to get the money to take care of it. That's like property tax. In North Carolina, if you have any car, boat, or RV, when you do the registration, annual registration, you have to pay a tax on that. And depending on the value of your vehicle, that can be substantial in some cases. That comes up once a year. Life insurance policies, there's 2 that we pay annually. That comes up during the summer. Then we have the termite baits that they come out, I think they come out once a year, maybe twice a year, but we pay that fee once a year. That comes up in the spring. Those are the things that I'm talking about, the things that you have to have. They're not an obligation monthly, but they're an obligation throughout the year, and they pop up on you. How do you manage that? Well, what I would encourage you to do, and it's actually an activity that I did in January, and one came out that I had forgotten about, which I will say surprised me. And I've had this before, but obviously it wasn't that much to where I felt like I couldn't manage it through my monthly expenditures. And that was the re-enrollment of my children in the school that they go to. Last year it popped up on me, and I thought, is this how much I've always been paying? So either it's because now I have 2 children that I'm paying for in that enrollment fee, or I'm paying for 2 children and they increase that potentially. And I remember saying I need to put that in my soft obligations because I need to be prepared for that number next year. Well, it was when I was going through my soft obligations again and preparing for this video, that popped up. Because I went month by month by month, and I thought about what happens during those months that would have a soft obligation to be due. I wrote all of those down. I wrote what it was, the amount, then I added all of that up, whatever that total was, I divided that by 12, and then whatever that amount is what I put away monthly to go towards the soft obligations. Now, there's also a couple things that come up, and I want you to think about as well. I'm going to use the example of your vehicle. Now, you don't have to buy tires I hope you don't have to buy tires every single year. But for me, in my household, I typically have to buy tires every 18 to 24 months, roughly. And then there's always brakes involved. Well, I figured out that that cost in 24 months will be about $1,900. And I had just gotten that done a couple months, so I'm good for another 2 years. But $1,900 is something that is significant and that I need to plan for, because it might be sooner or it might be later. But regardless, I'm going to have to maintain my vehicle to keep it going on regular maintenance. So what I decided to do is take that $1,900, I divided it by 2 years, then I took that number, divided it by 12. And that's the number that I am going to put away monthly. So when that need arises, I have it at least in my account. Makes it better when you already have it planned. I still like paying, especially taxes, but at least I have allocated funds in my budget there, so when it comes due, I can just pay for it and not feel as stressed by not having prepared for it. I would love to know in the comments, what are some things that pop up during the year, during the quarter, that just hit you and you've forgotten about it, or it's something new that accrued last year that you forgot about it going into this year. Would love to know. All your comments will be helpful for everyone else who's trying to plan for those soft obligations for the future. Now, you can go online. There's lots of different templates you can get free online that really can be very granular in nature. And some people really appreciate that. They want to go line by line to cover all their bases. They want to know how much they're spending in household goods, meaning like cleaning products and such, to the point of like entertainment. And whatever works for you and to help sort of bring in the expenses for your family is great. For me, I have to keep it pretty just short and sweet. I have my hard obligations I know I'm going to have to pay monthly, and then those soft obligations that come up throughout the year, and then whatever's left goes into expenses. Some people do break out their entertainment, going out to eat. We allocate in our household what works good for us is there is a spending dollar amount that my husband gets every month. There's a spending dollar amount that I get every month. We have to manage that individually to ourselves. And so that entertainment, going out to eat, things of that nature come out of that particular budget for each of us in our spending. It works for us that way. Everyone manages their life very differently, but I encourage you, whatever direction you take, make it a plan that's going to work for you and your family. Are you guys wondering how my $400 grocery spending is going for January? Well, we are the end of the second week, and it was an expensive second week. It's like my friend, her first 7 days were expensive. I mentioned going into this challenge that my grocery dollars probably has a lot more involved in it than the regular grocery dollars, because it's not just food for the family, it's food for the fur babies. It's also any of the cleaning household products that I would need, laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, all that, as well as personal items such as toothpaste, shampoo and conditioner, lotions, that sort of thing. That's all wrapped up in that dollar amount in my household. And I allocated only $400 for January. So you're wondering, like, how am I doing? Well, the first week, as everyone knows, I only spent $45.10 for groceries. The second week, not so bad. I only spent, actually it was $42.86. But then Walmart refunded me $2.57 because when I did my grocery pickup, because it's a little hard to grocery shop with, Thelma and Louise here. So I did the Walmart app pickup go online, get your groceries, which is great because you know how much exactly you're spending on that app. You order it, you go, you pick it up. Throw it in your car, you're good to go. When I got home and unpacked everything, I looked at the quality, and sometimes when you have someone else buy your groceries, that's where maybe they're not going to go through the produce like you would if you picked it out yourself. And there was one bag of sugar snaps that looked questionable, and I looked at the expiration date and it was like a week and a half expired. So real easy, went and did a return on the Walmart app, and within a couple hours they gave me back in my account the $2.57. So technically I only spent $40.29. You say, oh, that's not bad. Well, then the Chewy's auto delivery box came in for my big fur babies. They eat about a month to a month and a half or a month and a week. The large dog food bag. That was $73.42 that came in. Then I had my Melaleuca box, which is the company I go through to buy, all my household cleaning products, laundry detergents, shampoos, conditioners, vitamins, Tylenol, things of that nature. I buy from them. And that came in, and that monthly charge was $88.84. So I also had to run to the store and buy, my youngest daughter has like this nutrition drink that she likes to drink warm in the morning. And I had to run by Whole Foods to buy that. That was $19.17. And then the last two items that came up, as you can see, we're adding up here. We have a coffee subscription through Black Rifle Coffee Company. I don't know if you've heard of them. You can buy their coffee at Walmart. At least that's where I've seen it in North Carolina, in my area. But we subscribe to it. So once a month, they send us 2 bags of coffee, and that came in. And my husband were going back and forth on that. Be like, oh, it's a subscription. That's not really groceries. You guys tell me what you think. I put it in the grocery amount because it is coffee, and I could get coffee at the grocery store. So I put it into my $400 for January. And then this is what popped up, and I was like, oh, how did this happen? Our little dog Tinkerbell, her food ran out. And usually I'm not buying all 3 dogs or dog foods on a monthly basis. But this month it just came out to be that way. She needed her dog food, and she gets a smaller bag, obviously, and I don't have to buy it as often. And that came through Chewy's, and that was $44.73. That also included treats in there that I thought I auto-skipped it, but I apparently did it. So, $44.73. So we have the 2 weeks of groceries. That's about $80-something. The 2 Chewy orders. The household products, personal care products box came in. And then this coffee subscription, as well as the nutrition drink that my daughter drinks. That all adds up for the second week of January, $243.96. What went out that second week of January? So what I have left is only $155.18 for truly 3 weeks of January, because January is a longer month. And it technically ends on a Wednesday. So I have pretty much 3 weeks to plan and only spend $155.18. And you say, you might could do that. Well, we'll see. Fingers crossed. Anyway, folks, I did want to share again how I planned out my week to be organized, to ensure that I didn't run out and have to spend money that I didn't need to spend. I did my meal planner. I did my 6 days in preparation, and out of 7 I'm hoping to do just leftovers. And what I planned was tacos and rice, chicken fried rice, this crock pot beef and rice casserole, wedge salad and bacon, and there was like this crescent ring that has deli meat in it that's really good. Chicken, bacon, and potatoes, and then pizza that I have in the freezer. Now, how I prepared for that to make sure that it's below 30 minutes in preparation. Really 20 minutes in preparation is ideal. I try to get a lot of things prepped, and so all I have to do is grab it out of the refrigerator and then combine it and serve it. And how I did that is I made sure that the taco meat and the crock pot beef casserole beef that I needed for that, the ground beef for that, I made sure I browned both of those and had them prepared. I cut up all the vegetables that I would need for each of those recipes, like the tacos. I did the lettuce, tomato, and onion. I had all that cut up, washed, put in containers. The crock pot beef casserole, that needed just onions, so I had that chopped and prepared and set aside with the ground beef that was already cooked, so I just had to throw in the crock pot and go. The chicken, bacon, and potatoes, that one was easy breezy one that I already had in the freezer prior to my hip surgery. I had planned, but I'm going to include Frugal Fit Mom is a YouTube mom that gave me that idea. She did a whole show of 100 and I think it was 130 or 137 freezer meals, and I think she took recipes and then made 4 of each recipe to put in the freezer. And I got that idea from her, and she was like, there's really no recipe behind this. I just threw this together one day, and my kids, my family loved it. And it's really basic. It's raw potatoes peeled and cubed, raw cubed chicken. You mix that up with your favorite spices. You top it with bacon. You top it with cheese. You throw it in the oven and you cook it. Because it's raw potatoes, it's going to take about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. This one I made a lot easier. I made it faster. I already had cubed potatoes in my freezer, frozen potatoes like for hash browns with the peppers and onions in it. And so I cut up the chicken, cooked the bacon, shredded the cheese, and then I combined the frozen potatoes because I did not want to have them thawed out. So I quickly mixed the chicken and potatoes together and seasoned it, topped it with bacon, topped it with cheese, put the top on it, and threw it in the freezer. And I pulled it out this past week and cooked it. And it took, because it's raw potatoes, essentially, it took me about an hour to cook it. But that is so simple. And I don't know how you not like potatoes, chicken, cheese, and bacon. But that was a winner, and it's easy, and it was freezer friendly. So I will include that episode that she shares, the 130 plus freezer meals. I'm positive that you can walk away with at least 3 for your family to enjoy, and they're pretty fast in putting them together, and then freezing. Once you get out of the freezer, it's easy to assemble and bake. So I will include that in the description below. So that was my week. I made sure that on Sunday, less than an hour, I had all the veggies washed, chopped, the ground meats cooked as much as possible. All I had to do is dump and go. And each recipe really took me less than 20 minutes to bake. Some only took me 10 to 15 minutes to make and have on the table to serve for my family. That made the week go so much faster and less stress. Most importantly, it was less stress and easy cleanup. The pizza, we didn't order pizza. If you guys haven't learned about the take and bake pizzas at Aldi, first of all, they're huge and they're under $8 and they're very delicious. And one large one feeds my family. I keep 2 in my freezer at all times for those days that I don't really want to cook, and all I have to do is take it out of the freezer, and within 19 minutes in my oven, it's ready. And the family loves it. So that was my week. Am I going to make it? I only have $155.18 for essentially 3 weeks in January. We shall see. Thank you, friends, for joining me at Finance Working Mama. It's been fun hanging out with you. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up. If you want to know when I post more videos, just subscribe. You guys take care now, and I'll catch you later.